Oh shoot, this poor seller could have used some interior design tips for staging a house to sell. Now that it's on the market, with photographs all over the internet, the sellers have lost their opportunity to make that very first great impression. Don't let that be you. Let's talk about 8 common design mistakes that sellers are making when they put their homes on the market. See you on the other side. The sellers have lost the opportunity to make that first great impression. Don't let that be you. 8 common design mistakes that sellers are making all the time when they put their home on the market. No, actually when they're living there, but home on the market is super important. If you're new to my channel, I'm Susan Thetford with Parks Properties. I'm a realtor here in the Nashville area. On my channel, we talk about Nashville, we talk about real estate, we talk about all things. No, I'm not a designer, but as a realtor and retired general contractor who's helped many people build their homes, design their homes, I've also worked with and learned from lots of interior designers. In this video, we're going to discuss 8 common design mistakes and how to fix them. So one of the first things that interior designers preach is never ever choose your paint colors first. Now that's what the contractors want you to do. I'm sure that sounds crazy. Seems as if you could choose your neutral paint colors and then design everything around it, but that is not at all the case. Every designer begins with a storyboard, with the fabrics and the finishes and the hardware and the bedding and the lighting and the wood and the case goods of all the main pieces of a homeowner, and then they custom match the paint. They choose the paint colors that set the stage to highlight the architecture and the details of the furnishings. That's how you get a truly finished designer look without those designer prices. It's never too late to take a step back to see if the colors in your home set the stage, or are they the focal point, which is what you never want. Nobody ever walked out of the house and said, I love that house because of the beautiful pink wall color. Heck no. And choosing paint color with the designer's eye will always make your home appear to be much higher quality. Another design mistake is buying matching furniture. The very same applies to the hardware used throughout the house. You don't need to match the metal of the chandelier to the metal of the hardware in the kitchen cabinets, to the door handle hardware, or the hardware of the plumbing. If you have a matte black iron chandelier maybe in your kitchen hanging over your island, you can use a beautiful antique brass hardware on the cabinets and the floors. Mixing the metals makes your place look very contemporary, very modern, and designer quality. Don't be afraid to mix those metals. Another design mistake that I'm seeing all the time is hanging your television too high, especially when it's hung above a fireplace. Now, designers don't like that, but there are all kinds of opinions on whether the TV should be there or not. We know how people live. I know it's going to happen, so consider viewing comfort when hanging. The ideal position is for the TV that will be watched from in a seated position is approximately 65 inches from the floor should be the midpoint of the television. That's for viewing pleasure. So place the center of the TV at that 65 inches point. The TV from a seated position should be at a level so that you don't have to crane your neck to see it, and it's very comfortable. Approximately a 25-degree head angle offers comfort, position, and best visibility. Now this is a good rule of thumb for any television that's 65 to 70 inches. If the TV is a little bit smaller than that, you drop the center of that viewing area a couple inches for the correct viewing height. The same applies to picture hanging heights. In general, the center of a wall hanging or an arrangement of wall hangings should be at approximately 65 inches, eye level. Another mistake that I see all the time is hanging window treatments right above the frame of the window. That really bugs me. I know that you've heard this over and over again, but I still see it constantly. If you look right above the window, here's the window, you're going to see some blank space between that and the crown before you see the ceiling. What you should do is hang your drapery panels 3 to 4 inches from the ceiling height, as close as possible, leaving a little bit of room for hardware that you're going to use. What that does is it draws your eye up and visually makes the room appear much larger. Ceilings look higher. And remember, we're not trying to frame the box of the window. You're trying to open up that window elevation and frame as you're looking at it straight on. For the length of your window treatments, measure it from the floor to the ceiling height at about 3 to 4 inches from where the hardware is going to be. And if you need to buy them too long, so be it. Buy them too long. Use some of that trusty seamstress tape and an iron if you don't want to have someone professionally hem it. I've done it on several of mine, but don't buy drapes too short. Fifth is your room just lacks a focal point. A focal point is typically something that your eyes are drawn to as soon as you walk into a room. It's a bed in a bedroom. It's typically a beautiful fireplace in your living room. Maybe bookcases in your office. But if you don't have a permanent fixture in a room, you have to create one. The focal point gives your eyes a place to rest. It could be as simple as maybe a beautiful large piece of art. Think of it as something attached to the wall that allows you to place furniture directly around that focal point to create a nice place to rest, a nice conversational area. It directs people as to what to do in that room. A great tip for determining the focal point is what is it that the eye naturally is drawn to as soon as you enter a room. It should be at eye level or above, and then you create spaces around that focal point. Number 6, speaking of focal points, another mistake I see a lot is painting a focal wall, aka an accent wall, without any real reason for that focus. A high contrast paint color without the purpose of accenting maybe beautiful artwork or anything special that you want somebody to really focus on just makes no sense, no artistic sense. Don't do it. Don't paint a focal wall. Don't paint an accent wall if you want to have a high-end, classic designer look. Number 7 is pushing all that furniture up against the walls is one of the quickest ways to create an extremely dated, unwelcoming, what do I do with this room? The last thing you want to create in a home that's for sale especially, right, is imagine having a sofa on one wall and then the 2 chairs lined up against that other wall. No conversational area. How can you feel warm and inviting there? How can your guests engage with each other across the room? That's what people are thinking about. Think about your furniture layout in relation to how you want the room to function. Another design mistake is purchasing too small of an area rug for the size of your spot. An area rug literally means a rug that defines the area. The best way to know the right size of your room, or the rug for your room, is to lay out the furniture in the groupings best for the room. So maybe a sofa and a pair of occasional chairs, coffee table in the middle, and draw out the rectangle to the outside of all that so that all the legs remain inside of the rug. The area should not end before the sofa legs. That makes everything just unbalanced. Give it a luxurious room with the right size rug. Please let me know what mistakes you see people making when you walk into homes. You're looking, I know, either online or in person. And if this type of content is what you like, please give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. You'll be notified every single week a new video drops. And I'll see you next week.